Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us today. This is our first LinkedIn live session, so we at KETOS are very excited to welcome you to join one of our next water cooler chats. People today are inundated with a lot of podcasts, webinars, online sessions, so I really appreciate, and I know the rest of the team does as well, for you to participate and take your precious time for the next 30 minutes here. So today we have quite an exciting event planned, but before we get into that, what I want to share here is, unlike our regular sessions where we have guest speakers and influencers and advisors, today it's a really special one for me because it's my team at the forefront. And building a cross-functional, multidisciplinary team to solve a complex problem like water has been very difficult. But what makes it really special is the brilliant minds that came together at such an early stage. And I'm really grateful for every brick laid out here in terms of building that foundation for scale and making that vision possible. And we're definitely getting started. And so as part of that journey, for all those folks who don't know what KETOS does, here's a real quick sort of a briefing. KETOS delivers water intelligence in the industry, okay? We primarily serve a lot of industrial, agriculture, municipality type of customers. And what you're gonna hear a little bit about is KETOS SHIELD. And this is our flagship solution. And what it offers is a vertically integrated stack to deliver and detect water contaminants in real time in a completely autonomous manner while being remote controlled, okay? So with that, I have a very special panel of few team members here, and trust me, this is the tip of the iceberg for all those folks behind the scenes who are making everything possible at KETOS. So with that, let me start with a quick round of introductions here. Manny, you wanna take it away?
Good morning, thanks for being with us today. My name is Manny Hernandez. I'm an electrical engineer by trade. My journey with KETOS started 4 years ago when I joined and I got captivated by this noble cause, and I've worn many hats throughout the journey of KETOS. So really delighted to be part of this endeavor.
Hello everyone, my name is Srinidhi. I'm part of the software team, primarily dealing with embedded systems and firmware, and I've been with KETOS since 2017.
Thank you, Mina. My name is Ermias Legesa. I'm a chemical engineer. I have been with KETOS for about 3 years now. I am leading KETOS R&D effort now. So here at KETOS, we have an amazing team of scientists who are basically working on advanced, sensor methodology development, and also we work with software and hardware teams in developing our KETOS SHIELD system. It has been an amazing journey with KETOS so far.
Eric?
Thank you everyone for being here. My name is Eric Lara, and more than the team here, I've been with KETOS since the very beginning, as I've been the very first employee of the company. It's been an exciting opportunity, and my background is in materials engineering by education, and I've been working with the R&D team.
And we also have another member of our team. We wanted to have him participate here, Jay Shah, who's joining us from India. So thank you, Jay, for being here as well. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself? Yeah, I think Jay introduced himself. I'm not sure if everybody heard, but we couldn't hear. Hopefully the audience was able to hear. But let's kind of dive in and kickstart with some few questions. I think there's a lot to share here in the next few minutes. So maybe, for audiences, as you're hearing people's background, you might think about this as why is this formulation important? And this is important because what KETOS has brought about is an intersection of IoT meets robotics, meets data science for the world of water. So in order to facilitate that, you have a combination of material scientists, physicists, chemists, electromechanical engineers, robotic engineers, and then ultimately sort of gluing it all back together with cloud architects and data scientists. So that's sort of a strong representation of the type of folks in the team. And so to start with, Ermias and Eric, this might be a great question for you guys from an R&D perspective. With what's in the market today, I mean, this is not a new problem. This is a problem that's existed for decades. So why has it been that lab is sort of like the predominant answer for, any type of monitoring when people rely on precision versus just a lot of continuous monitoring possibilities?
I'll take that one.
Sure.
I'll take that one. Thank you for the question, Mina. Yes. So before answering the question, let me say something about conventional water analysis techniques. The current approach to analyze water is to go to the site of interest and collect the sample. Then after that, the samples have to be transported to the central laboratory,
right,
which is also another cost burden because you have highly trained personnel as well as highly equipped analysis instruments. And this approach, although it has been used for the last few decades, it has also posed some limitations, which is relying on a continuous water quality monitoring. So for that, KETOS has developed a platform solution in which you no longer depend on the extended analysis times to obtain results, but also you see your results in real time. And some of the advantages is that compared to the conventional water analysis, you don't have the extended times between sampling and analysis, which is what we are offering in the solution.
Well, also the hours it'll take for someone to go on site and grab the sample, prep the sample and everything, and probably, experienced people like yourself running the lab, having to provide that over a period of time, right?
Correct.
Right. Yeah, no, just to add on what Eric said, when we talk about lab analysis now, basically, you probably would going to use spectroscopic techniques, for example, ICP-MS or OES, or, depending on the analyte itself, you can also use X-ray fluorescence, right? Now, the advantage of these methods are they are precise, of course, right? And they are also versatile in nature, meaning you can have a wide, panel of elements or analyze, which are, of course, precise, and then also you can go into a lower detection limit as well, right?
Right.
Now that's the advantage of conventional system, like what Eric said. And when you come to continuous monitoring, the problem is that I think the greatest challenge there is you need to develop the hardware, which is robust itself,
right,
as well as you need to come up with the methodology, right, which is appropriate for that specific analyte. So I think what KETOS is bringing to the market is that. Now, let me give you an example. Most of the conventional or the continuous monitoring that's out there in the market, they use, for example, what we call an IC system. Now, when you look at the IC system, it has certain problems by itself. One, you need to do somehow a very repetitive and then complex calibration over time, and there is also what we call drift over time, right?
Very laborious.
So, exactly. So that is actually one of the biggest challenge that is out there, which is hindering the science to apply IC-based system for remote sensing, if you will.
So would you categorize it as one of the biggest challenge in continuous monitoring is consistency of data?
Of course, exactly. Yeah. So just like I said, if you have a drift over time, or if you have biofouling problem, then that will definitely affect your precision and accuracy, right?
Right. So essentially, if I'm a customer and I have invested in a whole bunch of probes over time, and then I've got some online analyzers, and then I have obviously a variety of parameters not detected by either, then I'm going to the lab for it. I'm spending a pretty substantial amount of time calibrating it, cleaning the equipment, maintaining the equipment, because that dictates my precision and sensitivity. And then in spite of all of that, I'm probably going to then spend additional amount in purchasing consumables because that dictates my frequency of testing as well, right? So yeah, a lot of things to consider as we're thinking through that.
Exactly.
And then, one of the key things that KETOS has differentiated ourselves is for the detection of heavy metals. And I mean, there's a lot of analyzers that have always done physical parameters or environmentals, certainly some in organics, but bacterial and heavy metal seems to be like the holy grail if you're able to hit it. We obviously have ways to go to hit the bacterial, but we have been able to achieve the heavy metals. Why has it been, so difficult? If you can highlight in a few, I know highlighting in a few words is very difficult. This is such a complex topic, but we'd love to hear kind of, share your thoughts to the audience.
So, well, actually, some of the reason is, the one that we talked earlier, right? There is an issue with, precision and accuracy in those measurements.
Right.
Now, let me just tell you something, right? So if you take, ICP-MS or ICP-OES or AES system, they are, robust and versatile, right? But if you want to, let's say, do a speciation, right? Those methods are actually very good for total analyte detection.
Right.
Now, if you want to do speciation, like, let's say you want to do arsenic 3 plus 3, 5, and then arsenic 5, then you need to go through an additional step which involves, extraction and separation, chromatographic technique, and things like that, right? Which means an added step.
Yeah.
Which means an added source of error, right?
Yeah.
So what KETOS does is we actually can do speciation easily, and also provide data which are as precise, as accurate as those
techniques in the lab.
Right?
Yeah.
So it has been really difficult for some of the methods out there to do all these things at the same time, and I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah. No, beautifully characterized, Ermias. Thank you, and thanks, Eric, for sharing that insight. Manny, it brings us to a very important point of concepts are created, right? So the best of the ideas come about how you want to solve a solution, and scientists have all of the possibilities that they can create. But what is, in your mind, after having been part of KETOS for the longest period, as almost my original 5 team members here, what is one of the biggest hardware challenges to sort of bring this vision of R&D to fruition, especially when you want to do it 100% autonomous and fully remotely controlled? What are some of the challenges you can share?
Oh, it's an immense amount of challenges, because Ermias here and Eric can dream up new ideas every day. And then my job is to make them work, and not just once, but multiple times and reliably. So leading the hardware team in KETOS, it's been full of challenges in that respect. And as Mina pointed out earlier, it's a discipline. It requires a lot of disciplines to bring something together of this caliber. It has to be a laboratory class equipment. It has to work in every condition. It has to work reliably, and it has to do it every single time. So that's the biggest challenge that I think we've encountered in terms of not just integrating the latest technology applied to a new application, but also at the same time developing new technologies and perfecting new techniques to reach our goals. So there hasn't been any shortage of that.
And I've had nights when we were talking and kind of playing around, trying to figure out how we're going to make it work in sub-zero temperatures and outdoor environments and indoor environments, and all sources of water. And you'll hear about a water source and we show up and the water looks like chocolate. And so there's never been a shortage of surprises when you're at customer sites. And I think encompassing everything that you're doing with hardware ultimately is just so important. What is a message that you might have for customers who are thinking about, well, is this going to work? Any thoughts there, Manny, on that?
This is several iterations of our hardware, right? So we're learning along the way as well. There's a ton of learning that we've gone through over the last 4 years. We know what works and what doesn't. We have several deployments in different customers that have been validated. We've learned something new from every one of those single installations. So we have collected so much knowledge on the industry, and there is a lot of equipment out there that's legacy equipment that people really hold on to, but they're not really taking advantage of the latest and greatest technology that exists to bring that to the current century.
We need a whole other panel to discuss challenges in terms of procurement and sales cycle and adoption and changing people's mindset, because that's the hardest battle. And so as we think through this, I mean, hardware is hard. And I think I've also seen that with investors who are very risk averse, and that also tends to be why enterprise SaaS companies, get the sort of limelight. But I think I am very proud of our hardware team, and we have very strong customer champions who, have seen this work and really are excited to see it scale to the levels that we know we can. So with that,
just one more, to put things in perspective, I came from a very large company that did a lot of hardware, big programs, and something like this would take a whole army of engineers a good, 2 to 5 years to develop. It's something we have accelerated with a handful of people, and I think I'm also very proud of our hardware team and what we've accomplished.
Absolutely. And as we bring this together, I mean, none of this is possible without all that software intelligence that activates, from concept to vision between R&D and hardware, and then kind of being that end-to-end vision. Because one of the beauty of KETOS offering is the fact that we're able to offer it as an end-to-end stack. And customers don't have to piecemeal it. We don't expect customers to become IT analysts. We expect customers to remain their best at, as water operators, while we remain the technologists and do our job as a service provider. So Trinity, what are your thoughts in terms of, undertaking something so critical and in a mission critical application in a customer environment? Businesses have so many different types of data right now. How do we add value?
Right. So the problem that a lot of customers are facing today is they have a lot of data which are stored in distributed way and in different formats. We here at KETOS are putting all our efforts in gathering all this information together and generating net new data in terms of heavy metal toxins or contaminants, and bringing this all together into our platform where the customer can view this data, generate insights, and also get actionable intelligence where they can address these situations proactively than reactively. And that's been one of our biggest challenges.
No, that's very well put, because when we walk into environments and I'm talking to customers, most of them are like, well, my lab data is stored in some PDF, and I've got some folks walking around taking some data in logs because they're used to, and it's a different software in an iPad. And then they have, some folks have their PLCs, so their SCADA systems, and everyone wants to embark on a digital journey. They all want to digitize their water. They all want to be part of the digital transformation, but they're confused sometimes or a bit more anxious. What is the right way to go about it? What are the things that I need to be thinking about from a sustainable architecture, right? So what would you have to say in terms of sets KETOS apart from a software standpoint, just based on the breadth and the depth of work we have done so far?
You really put it well in the previous sentence. The future of water, as we see, is in digitization of the data. And these data can be generated from customers' data sets that they have stored in earlier, or our data sets. We here at KETOS offer a platform as a service solution where customers can input their data streams or data sources into our ecosystem and generate insights and actionable intelligence, as I said earlier. So the advantage here is they get to do all this remote activity using a mobile application or a web application, and get timely updates and perform tests as they see fit, which will serve their needs. This is very essential for all our different customer types and different verticals like agriculture, municipal and
right. And especially even manufacturing plants and others where you have operators walking with their cell phone, and in some cases, I would say now with COVID, it's become even more top of mind because you can remotely control and manage all of your testing anywhere, anytime, while being at your home and being in your safe confinement and not having to be on site to solve a problem. You can at least get your threshold alerts and figure out what if there is a problem, and then at least work on that remediation versus having to be there on site and take that risk, right? Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think that a lot of the audience who's probably familiar with ketos would agree that validation as well. So with that thought in mind, I think even though we have only a very few minutes, what we want to do is pull our KETOS Shield system here, do a quick live show for people of how the unit looks like, and to give us a little bit of an overview is going to be Aditi Padhe, who is our technical solutions engineer. And come on over, Aditi. And just as Aditi, you should also do a very quick background on yourself, since you have been with KETOS from the very beginning as well. And maybe just give a description of your journey.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm right here. Hi. I'm Aditi Padhe. I joined KETOS back in 2017 before we were seed funded. And I joined as an intern with the R&D team. My background is primarily in chemical engineering, environmental engineering, and go ahead. Okay, that's me here. Background is primarily in that, and in the last year, I've been working as a solutions engineer, leading that department here. So it's been a fun ride, and I think it's a privilege to not only work on a fascinating product, but also with an amazing team, with amazing leadership. And as a first job, as a starting out experience, even seasoned people don't get that kind of experience, which I'm getting in my first stint here. So I think it's an excellent place to work, and I absolutely love the ride.
So with that, thanks, Aditi, for the word of confidence.
Thank you.
Let's go on. Why don't you walk the audience here and just sort of like, what do you think customers typically have to do when they have to think about us being site ready? Is it a lot of time and hours they have to invest in? Just kind of jump into that.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, not at all. From a customer readiness point of view, we literally need only three things. We need space, because the Shield is the size of a large microwave oven. We're right next to it for perspective. Then secondly, we need power, because it is a machine. So there's a power outlet on the other side where it's just a standard 110, 120 volt GFCI outlet that we need. And water, because it's testing water. So it's basically a 1/4 inch push to connect hose fitting. And that's all we need from the customer side. Everything else to do with the installation is completely taken over by KETOS, taking into account all the customizations that the customer specifies, calls out before the installation is done. So from that point of view, it's absolutely just install and forget. The way it's set up is to be a no-touch system. So the customer isn't responsible for any kind of calibration or cleaning at any point in time. And it's just then a regular quarterly visit that the KETOS technician would do to be on site and then service the system. So it's set up for the next quarter again. And that includes all the upgrades, Meena. So everything we do with the hardware, with the software, with the new parameters, all of that automatically rolls out to our customers every time we upgrade.
Awesome, Aditi. And what I wanted to share with the team here is this is just a glimpse of, possibly what we can do. So I'd really encourage everyone interested in learning more to go to info@ketos.co, sign up for our demo, understand the detailed level of breadth in terms of our platform, what we offer, the features, and really learn more about how you can actually deploy one of these systems. And as Aditi mentioned, it's truly hands-free. So with that, I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
I do have one audience question as I was scrolling through. There are a bunch of questions coming in. We do tend to write a blog with all the questions answered. So you will get answers to all your questions, if not in this live forum. But one question that I thought was unique that caught my eye that I do want to ask the folks here. The question was from a person in the water sector asking us, none of you are originally from the water sector. So what is it that drove you to be part of this company and part of, this project, or part of doing something to solve an application in this space?
For me,
go for it,
for me personally, it's a thinking out of the box kind of concept, and this is one area that has been undisrupted, and I thought that was just prime for that, and for me, that was the selling point.
Awesome. Randy?
As an engineer, you would like to work on some cutting edge technology. Here at KETOS, we have that unique opportunity where the technology meets a mission, and that is the reason.
There's never a dull moment.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm a scientist, right? So as a scientist, I really like scientific challenge, right? And I've been working on sensor development in the past, in an academic setting, of course. But this one is challenging enough in a way that you are literally trying to come up with a device, the hardware itself, as well as the methodology which is suitable for hands-free remote kind of sensing, right? That by itself has a challenge. So like I said earlier, what we have in the market currently, like the conventional system in the market, actually have inadequate quality control and the quality assurance protocols, right? What we are offering is, system that has all these things, a system that covers all the drawbacks of what is already out there. So that's a very good research challenge for me, and I've been enjoying it.
Just add one more thing to that what we have developed is not an instrument. It's a platform. That you can add a lot of things to it, and the possibilities are endless on what we can detect. In our program.
One of the things I remember sharing this with the team in one of our all hands, which was fascinating to me when a customer said this. They said that if I need chlorine, I go purchase a chlorine analyzer. If I need nitrates, I have to go purchase a nitrates analyzer. This is how their world of monitoring is operated, which to me is pretty insane, because technology is evolving so fast. Like, how do you spend $30,000 and go acquire new instrumentation all the time? And part of our philosophy in terms of our design, as a team, has been, how do we give customers that flexibility to constantly change what they're detecting and what parameters, because water is so fluid, no pun intended, and being able to have that as part of their roadmap. So we evolve, they evolve, and even an industrial customer asks for a certain parameter, like we have selenium. If somebody in agriculture and a municipality needs it, they get the benefit of it, even if they've not asked for it explicitly. So I think that flexibility and offering, really adds value in terms of not just disrupting on technology, at least from what I have learned and definitely seen.
Right, absolutely.
So Eric, what are some of your thoughts here?
These are very inspiring ideas from my colleagues. But personally, for me, coming into this sort of technology, it's impressive because we live in a digital era, and so with that it comes to how can we accelerate results for a special or fundamental resource that a lot of communities lack, and a lot of businesses, they want to know the answers to their water quality. So for me, that was like the biggest impact to come to the team and join the challenges.
No, beautifully said, Eric. And I think that's our core mission as a company. And so for all of you out there, we're always hiring. So anyone who's interested, do let us know. We are a very diverse team cognitively as well. And we love challenges, and we love challenging each other on all of our ideas as we explore and work together. And dare I say, I could not be more grateful and proud of the team here that just works relentlessly to achieve the outcome that we want to deliver for customer success. So with that, I take your leave. I hope each one of you have a great rest of the day. And here's to signing off from sunny California at our KETOS headquarters. Thank you.